are in your 40s.
Yeah.
Your kids are moved out and you're dating.
A little bit.
I feel
a
like
little bit.
A little bit. I feel like when we're in our 20s and you're growing up as a young girl, you never imagine being a woman in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, like starting over in that relationship area. And once you start meeting people in that phase of life, we all come with baggage. We come with, and like, we could have a whole episode on that, right?
Hours.
And like all these buckets of baggage, right? And you like take the good with the bad with somebody. What's your experience been like dating in this new phase of life with your kids out of the house and thinking about what Candace's life looks like in that second half?
You know, I've been, it's newer that I'm kind of starting to date a little bit on purpose. And again, I was married a long time. I got married pretty young. I've been divorced a long time. And I've loved the season of building and investing in myself.
How long were you married?
Almost like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how do we call it? Really great for about 15 years. Some struggle. The divorce was like wrapping up between like 17 and 18 years. Wow. I think you know what? I filed for divorce about 17 years in, and then it was kind of a dragged out process. So
how many years?
This is my time for me.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And so how many years have you been single?
About like 12 years. I did have a relationship. I've been fully single for 6 years, but I've been divorced for, my marriage ended like almost 12 years ago.
Okay.
So long. I feel like I've been single for 12 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
You're raising kids by yourself.
Yes.
You're making all life decisions alone.
Yes. Yes.
That's tough.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's interesting so to your question, I purposefully did not date for quite a long time because my priority and interest is really building my business. And I don't think it's an excuse. It's just a priority. Like, this is the time I want to grow my business. This is my business and life building time. And I really want to have like my life. There's no 100%, right? There's always a path ahead of us, but I really want to have the structure of my life the way that I want it before I get into a serious relationship, because I want to make sure that I'm living the life I want. And then how will being in a partnership make that better, and will it work? I don't want to change my plan of my business, like my business and taking care of my children.
Someone else
are the priority. Yeah. And now that I've, getting settled into entrepreneurship, I'm like, okay, I have a little more time and space, and let's see how this goes. I find it really interesting, like thinking about a future relationship well into my 40s. It's very different than when you're very young. And I think we all say for better or worse, and rich or poor and those things. And we mean them, like grow old together. Like you mean it when you're young, but I don't think you know what it means.
100%. Well, I guess it depends on how old you are when you get married.
Well, it depends on how,
Yeah.
It depends on how old you are and you're married, and it depends how many hard life experiences you've had or experienced in your family.
Yes.
And that wasn't my experience at that time.
Yes.
So I've gone through all the ups and downs that life brings, for myself and in my close circle, and thinking about a partnership in the future, like, we're not getting younger. We know what aging looks like now because at the very least, our parents are aging, and
You've had to start thinking about
that. It's a very different way of thinking about partnership and like long-term commitment and forever, whatever that means. Because you really know what's on the road ahead. Whereas when I was in my, much younger years, you're all in, but you don't really know what's going to come with it. Well, now I know what's going to come with it. And like, as a woman, we, have all sorts of health stuff that happens. And so I think I'm an emotionally stable person. I take care of my family. I take care of myself. So in that regards, I'm a really great partner. And yet I also know that I never want to be a burden to someone in the future. And I'm more worried, I think, about being like the burden to somebody else than I am worried about somebody else being a burden to me, even though we're all going to have health issues, we're all going to have family stuff. So that's a really big piece of it to me. And I guess it probably makes me a lot more intentional about who I'm willing to spend my time with in that regard. You know, are you able to take care of yourself emotionally, and how do you handle your relationships, and what is your financial plan for the future? I don't need to be part of your financial plan, but I need you to have your own financial plan, because I'm being responsible for myself and my family. So it's just different. I won't be building a family with someone else. I don't need somebody to give me a home. I have a home, right? So also, what does that mean when you don't need somebody to do that? A lot of questions around it.
Related but unrelated. One of the reasons I started posting on social media when I did was because I felt really blessed when I went through divorce to already own that first RV park. And I was able to financially support myself and the kids. And we talked about this earlier before we started recording. I could buy groceries and not have to worry about it. And I felt so blessed. And I know that there's so many women who don't have that. So that is why I wanted to start teaching about real estate investing and your finances on social media to other women who didn't really know those things, because I think it changes your options when you're making the decision on a spouse. And I have to wonder if most women would choose the same partner that they originally chose if they weren't thinking about finances, because I have a feeling a lot of them would not. And I think your life looks a lot different when you choose a partner. You want them to be stable financially, right? But that's not what I'm talking about. If they were to choose that partner based on something other than finances, because there is a lot more that goes into staying married to somebody
100%.
than that. And just choosing somebody because they have a good financial situation does not make a marriage work.
No, it doesn't. And it's interesting that you say that, because the reverse is also kind of true. So as you know, the other piece of what I do professionally is I coach entrepreneurs, investors, small business owners, right? 6 to 7 figures. Like, those are my one-on-one clients. And I love that group because we're all purpose-driven professionals who want more for ourselves. Like, we're growth-oriented personally, we're growth-oriented professionally. We want more for our families, for our community. And I see a pattern. I mostly work with women. I work with men too, and it goes both ways. I see a pattern where people who do think the way that we do, their partners aren't aligned in that. So it's not that they don't work or whatever, but maybe they don't have the same drive, which is fine, but maybe necessarily aren't supportive. And so those are some really interesting considerations that are not financially tied, but more like, what do we want our life to look like? And I think a lot of people would have chosen partners differently if we had the foresight, if they had the foresight and we don't. So then what do you do when you're in a great relationship or a marriage and you're misaligned in that way as well? So it's not like there are financial struggles necessarily, but the unsupportive.
I definitely don't think when you're getting married in your 20s, you think about all of these different things. They're like, is he cute? Like, do I like being around him?
He's so cute.
Yeah, he might be a good dad. And you have no clue because you don't even know what that looks like, right?
Like to go to the beach.
Yes, we watch movies together.